Hi guys, welcome to The Camera Adds 10 Pounds. Laugh.
Ha ha
Yeah,
ha ha.
it's a great title, I've been told. My guest, your host, Peter Surs, obviously, and my guest today is the lovely
Emily Hall.
Emily Hall, which is your middle name,
Hall is my middle name. My last name is Tender. So Emily Hall Tender.
but you go by Emily Hall.
Yeah.
Like on social media, you're.
My my old modeling agency didn't like Tender, so they took away the Tender aspect.
Really?
Yeah.
Why not?
I don't know. They said Emily Hall sounded super American.
It does.
Yeah.
And
So they're like,
Tender
Emily Hall.
sounded not.
I guess not.
That's
It
interesting.
was instantly vetoed, and I was like, okay.
Okay. So you're, if someone asks you what you are, because I think of you as a model because you're tall and like you look obviously like a model. But if someone asked you like, oh, what do you do? What's your first answer?
I would say I act and I model.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're an actress
And model.
and model.
Yeah, I modeled for a long time and then kind of switched over to acting
Uh huh.
more recently, within like the past year and a half.
Okay.
So now I do that too.
What do you like better?
I would say acting,
Uh huh.
personally. I mean, I modeled for so long. I'm 20 now, and I modeled since I
So
was
old.
12 and a half. I know. I'm a grandma over here. But then acting is more of like, I feel more creative when I'm doing it.
Of course.
Like, I get to play.
When you turn 21?
October 15th.
Oh, it's coming up. I mean,
Uh-huh.
kind of, but
I know. I'm kind of nervous, though.
why?
I don't know. I don't really want to get older. I told my mom, I was like, I'm going to rue the day I turned 21.
I couldn't wait to turn 21 because then I could finally get into all the clubs that I was already getting into anyway. But like,
But then you could do it legally.
but legally, yeah, because I didn't drink, so
Yeah.
it wasn't like I was looking forward to that. But I remember like, it's a big thing.
Yeah.
It's 21, but there is like something about not being 21 that's like,
It's kind of
know,
fun.
yeah.
It's like, oh, I can get away with things because they're like, oh, baby.
right. That was one of the things. So obviously, I know you from the gym, and that was one of the things is that I didn't realize how young you were because I've known you since you were, I mean, not that long, but when you were 19 when we first met,
Yeah.
and I remember you not seeming 19, and then I don't know, it came up in class, and I was like, "What? You're only 19, dude?"
I
Like,
think
that's
you played a song, like a throwback song,
yeah,
and I was like,
no,
I've never
totally,
heard this.
totally.
And,
And
you're
I
like,
was like,
what?
"This song came out in like 2000 or like 1999." And you're like, "Yeah, I wasn't born." I was like, "Oh shit, dude!" Like it's crazy
Yeah.
because it's weird to me because it doesn't seem like it's that long ago. And I mean, at that point, like I was an adult already, kind of like legally an adult at
Yeah.
least. Mentally, I don't even know if I'm still an adult, but um, but then to think like so I have like all these just it's weird to me like when I meet people that like I can converse with and just have conversation because I mean in your I'm defending you, but like not every 19 or 20-year-old can engage in a conversation that's not about I don't know, Coachella or you know what
Yeah.
I mean? It's like, but you have like a good head on your shoulders. And I was like, oh wow, she's like It's just weird. It's just really weird. And
I feel
I mean,
honored you were taken aback by me.
no, it's true because like I said, it's I talk to other people that are like there's a lot of people that come into the studio and whatnot, or just that I meet on jobs and whatever, and you're like, oh, you totally seem like
Your age.
you're 19, yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, you look like you could be 19 or 20 or whatever, you
I
know.
hope I don't look super old.
No, you don't. You don't. But I also don't know what people look like anymore. Like I'm getting to an age now where I just feel like everyone's the same age.
Yeah.
Like certain people I can definitely tell like okay, you look 12 years old. But other people I'm like
Well, I
they-
mean, I feel like 12, 15-year-olds look like
That's true.
20 now.
That's true. That's
I'm
scary.
always, people are like, how old do I look? And I'm like,
Yeah,
I'm
I
really
don't
bad at this game.
I don't answer that question when it comes to girls.
Yeah.
It's weird.
Just throw out a really low number. Just be like 21.
I always underestimate. Or I like when I meet
I
people.
lie.
I love when I meet women who are clearly like they're clearly mother and daughter. And I'll be like, "Oh, are you guys like sisters?" And it's just
A wave of joy washes over their face.
yeah. I mean, like because like sometimes I mean, depending on in what setting, like if I'm doing a show or something, they obviously know that I'm like joking, but I'm pandering. But sometimes like if it's they might think I'm actually serious. And I'm like, oh, you're sisters, and I don't know. It's just funny. But so we talked about this beforehand, but the common theme in this podcast is me as a comic who's very into fitness and in the fitness industry and whatnot. I'm someone that's been an athlete and been into fitness my whole life, and even when I become like Kevin Hart status, like fitness is still going to be a part of my life, and so I like to share, my fitness, endeavors and whatnot. But I also want to bring to light how other people in the industry take care of themselves and what they do and so forth, because I think there is like there's stigmas, like, we were talking about before,
Yeah.
but like people, when they think of comedians, they don't think, oh, health and fitness. They think drugs, alcohol,
Yeah.
shitty food, all those things. And for the most part, like they're right. But there are a few of us that take care of ourselves. So I'm one of them. And then there's other stigmas, like in other parts of the industry, actors, models,
Mm-hmm.
etc., where I think the general public probably thinks that they're born this way.
Yeah.
And some people are born a certain way, like they're born with good cheekbones, nice eyes, whatever that might be.
Yeah.
But like especially like for models, for example,
Mm-hmm.
I think the stigma or just the conception is that they don't eat,
Yes.
they have eating disorders, they don't exercise, they're not healthy, they smoke, and so one of the things that I remember about you when I found out what you did, we were talking,
Mm-hmm.
is that you don't drink.
I don't drink much, no.
You drink a little tiny bit.
If I'm like out somewhere with like a group, I hang out with a lot of people who are older
Of
than
course, yeah,
I'll have like some wine, but I'm never like, whoa, let's go rage on a Friday
right,
night.
yeah. I remember you coming to the gym like early, like in the morning on certain days, and I'm like, okay, so this is somebody who
Like
is
8 a.m. on Saturday.
yeah. I mean, but like for someone your age,
Yeah.
they're not waking up at 8 o'clock to work out to take care of themselves.
Yeah.
They're not getting up at 8 o'clock. Period. You
Yes.
know. So that right away, I was like, oh, she's got a work ethic. And then we talked about how you're like, yeah, I don't really drink, I don't do drugs, right? You don't smoke or anything, and which is kind of it is. There are models that do those things,
Yeah.
and there are models that do not do those things.
Mm-hmm.
You were one of the models that does not do those things,
Yeah.
but you work out a lot.
I do.
Like, and that was one of the things. That's what I was trying to get to, is that I noticed like on your Instagram and whatnot, like you kind of are like always working out, kind of like me,
Yeah.
which is, for me, it's admirable, because I think that someone someone that's your age, that might not be their priority. They just
Yeah.
want, you're in the industry. LA is a place where you could easily grab your girlfriends and whatnot and go to some club. I don't even know the names of clubs anymore because I'm so old. Like
Ended up at One Oak.
yeah,
That's
exactly.
like a
I
classic
know. I
saying.
know. I've never. So
I'm like, I don't think I've ever been to One Oak.
Okay, see, I've been to the place where One Oak is, the location, but like in my heyday, it was called the Key Club,
Oh.
and yeah, it's not called that anymore.
No.
So I don't know how long it's been One Oak, but I remember being and it was a cool club, and it was also like I don't know if you remember the movie Night at the Roxbury.
Mm-mm.
I think it
I
came
don't think
out.
I've seen
I
that.
think it came out before you were born.
Ooh, no, I haven't seen it.
But it, like the club, it's Chris Kattan, Will Ferrell. They're like these guys that are like old. They're too old to be at the club, but they love going to clubs.
Yeah.
So they go to all the clubs and they have no game, but they think they do. Anyway, they're trying to get into this popular club, the Roxbury, and it was actually the Key Club, so it's based on
okay.
that. But like anyway, it's not called the Key Club anymore.
No.
But the point being is that you're working out, and so what I want to talk to people about, and where you can talk to them, is like, where did that come about? Like,
Okay.
how did you get that motivation, that drive, or whatever that is?
Yeah. Well, so I started modeling when I was 12 and a half, as I said. Yeah. I submitted myself to an agency and
12 and a half.
yeah. And I like told my parents after I did it, basically. And they're like, all right. And I was playing like sports. I was a very active kid.
Did you
Like,
play basketball?
yeah. I played
Okay.
basketball like since I was 5 years old. I
Uh-huh.
rode horses. Kind of did every sport under the sun.
Like
very
a
athletic.
like equestrian or like racing?
I did Western, so not like equestrian, but I just was like always outside moving.
Okay.
And then so I started modeling and I went to Japan when I was 14
No shit.
for a summer. Yeah, I think I was 14, maybe 15. And I remember I got there and they told me I was fat when I was 14 and they gave me laxatives and I was with my mom, thankfully.
Oh shit.
Yeah, they tried to give me laxatives, told me I wouldn't work. And so kind of in Japan, I had to be like, all right, so I can't eat donuts every morning. I
Right.
can't eat lemon pound cake from Starbucks. I have
Right.
to work out in a different way. And so it kind of started there where I started to realize,
Because
like,
you had an athlete body at that point.
yeah, very muscular. Like,
Uh-huh.
I was constantly playing something
Uh-huh.
and training for basketball, all this jazz. And then I got back and I kept modeling, obviously. And I went to New York again when I was 16 by myself, and I was running cross country. And I was in the middle of cross country season, and they told me I was fat again and to lose weight. And so I didn't really,
Wait, so did you move to New York, or were you just there like for a short period of time?
I was just there for 2 weeks.
Okay.
But so at that point, I kind of was like, all right, this is what I did in Japan, and I lost weight. I walked around a lot. So I tried to do that, but I didn't fully understand like what was working out for me because I was like, okay, I'm going to try this, but I gained weight just walking around and eating what they told me to eat because I was like, I'm depriving myself of what I want. This isn't healthy. And then so kind of then when I signed with a New York agency when I was 17, I kind of started really like developing like, all right, this is what I want to do. And instead of looking at it as like I have to work out to be skinny, I saw it as like I'm going to work out because it makes me feel better
course.
and it makes me feel good. And so I went through like ups and downs of different workouts and different like trial periods. And it got to this place where I found like a balance of a workout started my day right. And it was like, all right, I'm clear for the day. I'm grounded. I feel good. I look better in my head. And then I'm like, all right, let's tackle the day. If that makes sense.
Of course. I mean, that's my life.
Yeah.
I wake up and my one of the hashtags I used to use the camera adds 10 pounds, and then now I have this podcast, but also one of the hashtags I use is if I'm working out in the morning, wake up, fuck shit up.
Yeah,
It's
I like
just
that.
my thing. I don't know. Because it does make me feel good. Like for me, I mean, I have issues. I'm a comic. And one of the ways that I deal with issues, along with therapy, is just through fitness, like,
Yeah.
hitting things, lifting heavy things, tiring my body out, because then it does help me getting that physical, just angst and all that stuff out, helps me relax mentally. It helps me concentrate on everything else I'm doing. Like if I haven't worked out and I'm trying to achieve a task, like whether I'm writing or whatever, like I just don't feel. There's just something I feel off.
100% agree.
Like
with
today,
you.
like today's my off day, quote unquote. Like I'm actually, because you have to rest. You can't work
Yes.
out every day, guys.
You can't.
Even
You'll
I'm a
tire
machine.
yourself out.
Yeah, your body needs rest, and any kind of gains that you're looking for are going to come. Like obviously, you do things in the gym or whatever your workouts are, but you do have to rest, especially as you get older. I have to rest a little bit more than I would like to, so I get antsy on my rest days. And I have a
too.
show tonight, and I'm like, well, like, what am I gonna do? So I'm probably gonna go take yoga later, just so it's like I'm doing something, but I'm like still like resting, even though
Yeah.
yoga's very hard. But yeah, it drives me crazy. But there is like a mental thing that helps me just not go crazy.
No, yeah, I agree. Like, I do that with running mostly because, so kind of tying back into like the whole modeling thing. So a whole thing in the modeling industry is measurements,
Right.
and you have to maintain certain measurements.
Of course.
And I've always had a butt and like wider hips. It just won't go away. So my measurements were always like harder for me to keep down.
Okay.
And so that's kind of where I started like realizing like different workouts, and then like a run, if I was super stressed, would just like calm me down.
Yeah.
So running became like that, kind of what you're talking about, if that makes sense, tying that
Yeah,
together.
yeah.
But running became that like,
Yeah.
I'm going to be calm now.
Do you listen to music when you run?
I do. I put
Okay.
my headphones, I sing the whole time I'm running. Like
Me
to
too.
anybody who watches me run, they're probably like, what the hell is this
No,
girl
for sure.
doing? Like mouthing all these words.
People like at the other gym that I train at will see me. They're like, I saw you running like down Sunset by Beverly Hills, and I thought you were talking to somebody. But I'm
Yeah.
like, nah, I was just probably singing.
No, one of my friends
Or,
said
like,
that too. He
rocking
was
out.
like, "Was that you running on the street?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Were you on the phone with someone?" I was like, "Oh no. I was like, if a song that with a good beat kicks in,
Yeah.
I also like run harder to it, and I'm like,
Of
yeah,
course.
oh yeah, and like really feel it.
My new thing is because I try to run like at least twice a week, like a 4 or 5, and then like one long like 6, 7 ish.
Yeah.
And my new thing is I read this book, which I highly recommend to everybody. It's by this guy David Goggins, who was like a Navy SEAL.
Cool.
And he was Navy. It's a long. I mean, I can't. There's so much that I'm gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it justice by explaining it. But he was a Navy SEAL. He let himself go after he was in the Navy. Let himself go. He got up to like 300 pounds. Then decided he wanted to be a Navy SEAL. Lost 100 pounds, and then became this Navy SEAL. But he kept getting hurt during the Navy SEAL camp, so he
Oh, snap.
he had to go through Navy SEAL camp like 3 times, and then finally he went through it, and then he decided that he wanted to raise money for like families of killed people killed in action.
Yeah.
So he decided to run this 100-mile race to raise money.
Oh my god.
And he had never run, like he had run in like Navy SEAL training, but like at that point he hadn't ran more than like a mile in like 6 months.
Yeah.
But then he made himself run 100 miles just so he could qualify for this other race that was like 135 miles.
Oh my god.
It's just,
I'm
but
gonna
like,
read that.
no, it's crazy. I mean, it's such a like I talked about it on my Instagram, but it's like I'm someone that I don't need any more motivation. Like
Yeah.
I'm motivated to take care of myself. I'm motivated to advance my career and stuff. But like reading that book, I was like, dude, I need to be doing more. Like, is that possible? Because he like will get up at 5, run 10 miles to work, and then on his lunch break run another 10 miles, and then
Jeez.
run home, and then at the end of the week take all his clothes home and like why it's crazy, dude. He's another level, but it's like people are capable of doing that.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
That's like, what is the actor who wakes up at like 5 or 4 and works out
Mark
for
Wahlberg.
Yeah, works out for
Yeah.
2 hours and then like does his daily stuff.
And then he's a dad.
Shocked.
Yeah. But that's the thing. It's like, it's a perfect example of this podcast is like, I think people look at like let's say me as like a comedian and whatnot, like, oh, you just sit around all day. It's like, no, I work out. I still have my other job that I have to go to, because comedy doesn't pay all the bills. And so like, it's like, I'm just as busy as someone with a 9-to-5 job.
Yeah.
Someone that has kids, like, you have auditions, you got to be going acting classes and whatever. Like we all have things that are going on, but we make it a priority.
Yeah.
And so like, Mark Wahlberg, he's got, most people are like, oh, I have a wife, I have kids, I have a job. It's like, he has all those things.
And he still finds time.
And he wakes his ass up at 4 o'clock. Kevin Hart's the same way. Like Kevin Hart, The Rock, is
Yeah.
up. Like I love following him because I'm like, dude, he's up at 5 o'clock sometimes 4 o'clock in the morning,
the gym.
getting his workout in. And he has this dope gym at home.
Of course.
Like it's
Me too, same.
Do you really?
No.
Oh, I was like, dude,
I wish.
That's like my goal is like, I mean, to have a house. That's great. But like, my dream thing is to have a gym in my house, like
Yeah.
like The Rock, or like Kevin Hart has a dope one too. But The Rock is just like awesome. But anyway, my point out is the new thing is that when I run, towards the end of my run, I play the theme song from Rocky. And that
Awesome.
shit gets me pumped, dude.
That's
It's
awesome.
just so. You've seen Rocky, right?
Yes.
Okay, because that movie came out way
Yes.
before. Came out before.
And I just saw the Creeds. Loved them too.
They're great, right?
Yeah, I was a huge fan.
Did you see the second
Michael
one
B.
too?
Jordan. Oof.
He's a good-looking dude. He's in good shape too.
Yeah.
But he's like he's like an athlete too. He he got really into like boxing training,
Yeah.
to get into the character. So he thought that he could fight Roy Jones, who's like a famous old boxer.
Really?
Like he's convinced because he's trained so hard that he could fight a professional fighter.
Oh shit.
Which I mean,
You don't believe?
no.
No.
There's a difference
I agree.
between.
I would agree a little bit.
Well, okay. So I want to get on this while we're talking about like modeling and stuff, because I know that you're in Victoria's Secret now, kind of.
Yeah, I shot
Right.
with Pink. Victoria's Secret's like younger brand.
Oh, is that what Pink is?
Yeah, so it's VS Pink, which is like the younger brand of Victoria's Secret.
I didn't know that. I
Yeah.
just thought it was like different things.
No, it's younger. It's very smiley, very fun.
And so like not as sexy, I guess.
No, I did a shoot with them where I was like holding a puppy the whole time, and I loved it. I was like, wouldn't put the puppy down. They're like, okay, we need the puppy back, and I was like, no, mine.
But that's huge.
Yeah,
Like I remember you just like casually like posted it, and I was like, dude, what the fuck, dude? You're like Victoria's Secret.
yeah, it was
Like,
really cool.
I feel like for a model, that's like at that point, like what else is there?
I mean, it's interesting because like growing up, that was like my only dream. Like I used to have pictures on my wall, like magazine pictures of
Uh-huh.
like all these models and like Victoria's Secret and like mixed in with actors and like
Uh-huh.
I had this whole wall.
So like
in my
it was
room.
like a vision board before you even knew what a vision board was.
Yeah, like no, like pictures covered my like every single wall of my room
Uh-huh.
of like actresses, models, Victoria's Secret campaigns.
So people that you
Everything.
like aspired to be.
Yeah.
Okay.
Who I was like, this is who I want to be, want to look up to. And so kind of when I moved out here, because in New York, that was where I was like, this is going to happen.
Right.
Like, this is where I want it to happen. And I didn't shoot with them. I lived in New York for 2 years.
Okay.
And I didn't shoot with them there. And I was pretty bummed. And I went on to casting for the show, and I didn't get it. And then I got out here, and like acting was my main focus. And I was actually, when I got told I was shooting that, I was waiting to hear back about a movie.
Right.
And I was more focused on that. And I remember my mom was like, this has been your dream. Like, that's crazy. But it's such a weird how that works. But I was like beyond thrilled to be shooting with them,
course.
obviously.
Yeah.
But it was just weird because it was like, all right, like that was a goal for so long. And then I kind of like switched mindsets.
Yeah.
And then it happened.
And that's how I was with, like, I don't know if you know, but I always wanted to be a pop star.
Yeah.
And I even tried out for O-Town. the
Did
band.
you?
Do you remember O-Town?
I know who they are. I couldn't
They're-
recite a song, but
Their popular song, their like main
now
song
you're wearing
was.
NSYNC right now.
I am wearing NSYNC because yesterday was May 1st. May Day. It's gonna be May. It's gonna. Have you never seen the meme?
No,
You're kidding me.
no. I feel embarrassed and ashamed right now.
All right, we're gonna do this. We're gonna kill a little. There's this huge meme. You know the song "It's Gonna Be Me." It's gonna be me by NSYNC.
I vaguely
Emily,
know that. Okay,
God-
guys, I'm embarrassing myself right now.
God damn it, Emily. Okay, so okay,
Let's just pretend that never happened. Can we cut that out?
okay, okay. So, see, it's gonna be May.
Okay.
Okay, this is what you get. Okay, so in the song, it's gonna be me. Let's hope I don't get kicked off of YouTube. It's one of the most popular NSYNC
I'll
songs.
probably know it.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, I know this. Yes. Yes.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So, I'll forward it a little bit. Baby, and then. Oh wait, I went too far. So, in this part, he says it's gonna be me, but he says May. Watch. Let's see. This is a lesson for everybody.
Oh, got it.
So like a few years ago, somebody made a meme that was like, "Hey guys, it's gonna be," and now it's like this huge thing.
Oh, rats! I wish I had known
Every
this.
like April.
I would have jumped on the train.
Yeah, every like April, like 29th, 30th, people start posting that meme, and there's even like poems like "Roses are red, violets are gray. Today's April 30th, but tomorrow it's gonna be May." Like it's just
Oh,
stupid.
I like that.
Anyway, what was it? Yeah, so I wanted to be a pop star, and then I got into dancing and whatnot, and then I
Yeah.
ended up doing comedy, which is what I probably should have been doing from the beginning because I've always been funny. But yeah, like, I mean, I have, dude. I got voted most humorous in elementary school, in junior high, in high school. Like
Really?
the kids, yeah,
I could
dude.
see that.
The kids knew
They
back then,
knew.
and I knew, but like it was weird because it wasn't like I did comedy. Like now it's different because you can watch like, you know, Netflix or HBO. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
there's stand-up comedy everywhere. YouTube, obviously now. But like when I was growing up, it was just like there was a handful of people that had, you know, comedy specials. It
Yeah.
wasn't like everybody has a special. And so it's like it just didn't like I knew I was funny and I knew that like I used to get in trouble in school. And not because I was like beating kids up or anything, but it was just because I was funny.
You were cracking jokes. When
Yeah.
You shouldn't have been.
Exactly. The teachers call it being disruptive, but it just means that I was funny and they didn't like it.
Yeah.
You know, 25, 30-year-old, you know, adults don't like it when a 7-year-old is hilarious when they're trying to talk. Like
Yeah.
they just don't like it. So I would get
weird.
it.
Why,
Yeah.
Why don't they?
But it's silly because I was like that's all I did. Like it wasn't like I was throwing rocks at kids or like I said, I wasn't beating kids up. I wasn't ditching school. I just liked to make my friends laugh.
Yeah.
And then it, you know, when I finally got to the point where I was like, I need to try comedy. Like it was the first joke I told. You know, I don't think I've told it on this podcast, but like the first show I did, the very, very first joke that I wrote. I don't know if this is the first joke that I wrote, but it was the first joke that I ever told on stage. It got like a laugh. You know,
Uh-huh.
like people were it wasn't like I was killing, but like people laughed, and it just felt so. I was like, oh, that's what it feels like. Like this is what I'm supposed to. And then from that moment, there was
Oh, I love that.
yeah, there was no other doubt in my mind that that's what I was supposed to do, and it just, I mean, it took forever for me to get
Yeah.
started. But you know, and then same thing with you. Like you wanted to be a Victoria's Secret person, and then you started acting, and then you end up in Victoria's Secret anyway.
Yeah.
Like that's
It's
crazy.
pretty crazy.
Okay, so I want to ask you your opinion on this. You know about what happened with Victoria's Secret, right?
With the show?
With the fashion show.
Yes.
You know what I'm going to ask you right now?
What?
So there is a lot of I talk about this on stage a little bit, so I'm just curious to get your opinion. But people, I put in quotation marks, were outraged that in the Victoria's Secret fashion show there were no plus size models. And then it started off as plus size models, and then it got into they were mad because there also weren't any trans
Yeah.
models in the thing. And I think that the CFO got in trouble because he made some comments afterwards. And he said that they had actually looked into having some trans models and it just wasn't a fit. But he basically made no apologies for the fact that there were no plus size models in
Yeah.
the fashion show. Made some comments that I thought were hilarious. I'm not gonna say everything he said, but he basically was like, yeah, like Victoria's Secret, it's a fantasy show. You know, it's a fantasy. So we're not gonna put, you know, people that are plus size in our fashion show because that's not what people fantasize about. I'm paraphrasing that part, but then I think what really got him in trouble was like, he's like, it's not our fault that the average size in the United States is a 12, because he says because that's too big.
Yeah, I remember that.
And he's a CFO, dude. So like he can say what he wants. And in my mind, I was like, yeah, dude, like if you own a company, I don't care what company that is, okay? Whether you have a restaurant, you know, what's that sign when you walk into like restaurants? It says, we reserve the right to refuse service. Like a lot of places, I mean, you don't really see those signs anymore, but like that's like a thing. And so it's like if I'm starting a business, I'm gonna sell what I want to sell in my business.
Yeah.
Like that's it. I just want to know your thoughts.
Well, so as someone who's like, as we've talked about, like worked really hard for my body, like
Yep.
it's not like I'm always like if I ate a lot, I probably would be skinny still, but not uber skinny.
Right.
I can see where like a lot of those girls like train really hard leading up to the show, but I don't think his comments were correct because I think now in this day and age, everything is leaning towards a more like general
Inclusive.
Yeah, like inclusive, like we're gonna incorporate like plus size models, models who are too short, everything. I don't think he should have said that by any means. But I was actually quite surprised that they didn't have plus size girls in the show just because of how things are, and I thought that they would have jumped on board with
Right.
it. But for Victoria's Secret, I don't know the like inside of the company too well,
Right.
and what he was saying, it was not smart to say. I wouldn't have released that myself, but I think as someone who does work hard, I know those girls work hard for the show.
Exactly. Like
And
it's
not
not
s-
like that's the main thing that I was trying to get is like these girls are busting their ass. Like it's a reward to be on that runway.
Yeah.
Because not all the girls get to be on the runway, right? Victoria, I don't know
I
how
mean,
many
like-
people they have on the roster.
I remember like like when I first auditioned for it, like if they want to, I think that they probably will include plus size girls next year. And VS Pink
I ain't
actually,
watching that shit.
ass. VS Pink actually is like leaning towards more like normal, like college, like normal, like making it more
What's normal?
like basically I don't think it's which kind of it bugs me in a way where not like with Victoria's Secret in specifics, but it bugs me where people are like, oh, you're too skinny or you're not skinny enough. It's like there's no perfect. People are like, we want normal. We want like
Right.
what average people are. And it's like, okay, well, I mean, I'm working really hard for how I look.
Yeah.
It's not like I'm not eating and not, as we said, working out.
Yeah.
Like I have to work really hard. So I think that there's like a weird line now.
It's a slippery slope.
Yeah, where it's like, because they're like hiring like a bunch of college girls and like you'll see people in ads now who aren't super toned. And I always like, my agent would tell me like, you have to have your measurements perfect to go into VS. I'm not sending you in. Like, make
Right.
sure your stomach's toned, everything. And I always was like, go, go, go. Like, yes, I agree. And so I think it's kind of, it was like a weird thing for me with a lot of things, not just them, but where it's kind of like you work so hard and then they don't want you so toned.
Yeah, it's like it's not my fault. Like I could easily eat pizza and not work out
Yeah.
and
But
look.
I'm not meaning to offend anybody right
No,
now with my statement.
We don't have. No, we don't have to be diplomatic, dude. Okay, this is the camera adds 10 pounds, not the camera adds 50.
Yeah.
Okay.
God.
No, but like that's the thing. It's like okay, so at one point does it stop? Like I wanted to when I played baseball my whole life, and you know I thought I was good for a long time. Like I played all through high school, played in college, and then I didn't go pro.
Yeah.
So do now people that aren't good enough to be professional athletes, are we going to have to force them to put somebody that's normal, that's not a professional, that didn't work their ass off, that wasn't skilled enough to be on that team? Like,
Yeah.
how many different exceptions do we have? Like, it's the same.
It's similar.
It's a
Yeah.
similar thing. There was like a high school in New Jersey, and the were you a cheerleader in high school or just an athlete?
No.
Oh, look at that! Good for you.
Me cheering would have been a shit show.
So there's like girls on the cheerleading team that they tried out and they didn't make it, and just like any other sport, like you don't get to do everything
Yeah.
just because you want to do it, you know. And what ended up happening was, you know, some of these girls were upset or whatever, but the parents petitioned, went to the school board, and the school changed the rules so everybody that tries out gets to be on the cheerleading squad.
Yeah. So I kind of get what you're saying with that, and I think that's
So
kind
what,
of
yeah, like where does
it's
it
headed.
stop?
Well, it's interesting because like I was always told I was like fat in the modeling
And
industry.
it's crazy.
Yeah. So like because my hips were always like the smallest I could be was a 35 and a half
That's
inch
your
hip, like
hips.
35.25.
Your hips is like, or,
They
like your
measured like
actual
the
hip.
fattest part of your butt.
Right. They got like the biggest part of
Yeah.
the curve, right?
And that was like the smallest I could be, and I was like so skinny. My waist was so tiny, and it was just like
If you're not watching, Emily's what, like 5'11"?
I'm
How tall?
5'10".
5'10". If you're not watching, and what,
Yeah.
like 115 pounds, 120 pounds?
I weigh like 125,
Okay.
I think. Don't quote me.
What does it say in your Z card?
Camera ad 10 pounds. So right now 135. But yeah.
Are Z cards still a thing? Like
No.
No, they're not.
You had like
huh?
a comp card, so it says your measurements.
Okay, that's what I meant.
But
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
like a 35 and a half or whatever was always considered big
Right.
in the industry. And so then for it to switch, I kind of was like, phew, it's like switching. But then it like switched too where they don't want you, like if you're toned, they're like, no, you look too skinny. And it, like I remember I was out here having a conversation, I think it was with a modeling agent, and they were like, well, actually you're too skinny. Like clients are now leading towards like a 4'6", not a 2'4" or 0'24".
These are like the sizes, right?
Yeah. Of like dresses, and I was like, oh, okay, and they're like butt and boobs are necessary. And I just was like thinking to myself, and I was like, this is so crazy, because I like for the longest time it was like 0'2",
Right.
and I was like working so hard to maintain that, and now it's like even my mom will be like, you look too skinny compared to blah blah blah, like other girls, and I'm like, Mom, you know me though, like I'm working out and working hard
Right.
for this, and so it's not like too skinny by any means, but how the times have changed,
It's so weird.
it's very it's
But think about
interesting.
also like, you know, like people like, let's say like, let's go way back, like Marilyn Monroe, who was like, you know, the ultimate sex symbol or
yeah.
whatever. She was what, like a size 4 or 5 or something?
Yeah,
I don't even know.
probably like
Maybe
4'6".
yeah.
Well, I mean that's like with Cindy Crawford
It
and all
goes
them.
into things like it goes up. So we're
Yeah, it's like with Cindy Crawford, like she was like curvy and it looked
Mhm.
good, and it's like that wasn't like plus size or anything. She was just curvy, and that was like what was normal. And then it did such a dramatic switch when like Kate Moss and Gemma Ward and them came, where
Right.
it was like,
oh, Jim Award.
yeah, it was like look heroin chic, like look like you've been on drugs, and then everyone got so skinny.
Uh-huh.
And so now I think like kind of like you said, like I don't think so many people are focused. Like I know lots of people who are focused on the gym and taking care of themselves, but like people from where I'm from, for example, like my parents and stuff, sorry, Mom and Dad, don't really care so much about the gym. So it's like
Yeah.
those like people, like modern, most of America, I think,
Most of America.
they try and, or people are trying to appeal, but then it's at the same time, it's kind of like a fine, weird line.
It's weird. It's so weird. Like it's weird that like I can perfect example. I've talked about this one of my other episodes, but like I could talk about stuff. Like people always ask me if I do gym jokes or like talk shit about people at the gym, and I'm
Yeah.
like, I really don't, because there's only a few places where people even that's like a thing where you can assume that everybody knows what you're talking about
Yeah.
of just going to the gym. Like most places that aren't, L.A., New York, San Francisco. There's a couple Seattle. There's a couple. There's
Yeah.
like there's a handful of cities. I mean, there's more than a handful, but I'm just saying like because you're from like small town in Washington, right?
Mhm.
Where are you
Pretty
from?
small. I mean, it's not tiny, Spokane,
Spokane. Okay, so that's like
but it's very like you kind of. I mean, there. Let me put it this way: there's one like workout studio there that's like a good one, and it's called the Union, and they do spin, yoga, and TRX.
everything.
Yeah, and so
Okay.
like that's kind of like, and that's new,
Uh-huh.
and they have a smoothie bar, and that was like the first smoothie bar in Spokane,
Right.
which is crazy.
It is crazy. I was actually surprised. Last year I went to Richland, Washington, and they had a gym, and it was actually nice, but it was very small.
Yeah.
And that was like the only place within like a few miles. It's not uncommon for places to not have like that. When I go to Oklahoma, where my girlfriend's from, there's no gym in her. Like the closest gym is
That's
20
so
miles away.
crazy.
20 miles away,
Oh.
and I'm just like, I can't work out. She's like, well, you work out because you'll be working on the farm. I'm like, yeah, but it's just
not the
like
same.
that's work to me.
No, I started like because of that, because I travel. I get made fun of for this. I bring ankle weights with me, bands, discs.
Oh, who makes fun of you?
I have like everyone, because always in the little freaking TSA security line, they always stop me and like check them for bombs. And I'm like, they're not bombs, they're ankle weights. I know what I'm being stopped for.
Do you really?
Yeah, I bring them with me everywhere, and like I have a few apps on my phone, like this thing called Obey, and like different ones, so
Uh-huh.
that I can watch. Like I was in China for a month, and I took that with me, and I bring a jump rope.
Were you
and
there for a month?
I was there for a month. Yeah,
That's crazy. You're shooting something, right?
yeah, I was filming a movie,
Can you
and
tell?
then I was filming the first time I'd ever been like the lead in a movie or whatever, and so it filmed in China and San Francisco, and so I spent a month in China. And it was just crazy because as we talked about working out, like that's what kept me grounded. I would wake up and go for a run. I would wake up and do my toning exercises,
Right.
jump rope in my room, that type of thing. Because it was like, I feel calm. I feel like cleared for my day. I
Yeah.
don't know where I am.
Right.
Everyone's on a different time zone. So yeah, but I started traveling with like kind of everything I need. So it's like if I'm in a hotel and there's no gym, I can just do a mini workout in my room.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I talked about that.
And I bring like protein powders and bars and stuff in case there's no food I can eat.
Does this sound familiar? I've been talking about this the whole time.
Yeah.
Like all these podcasts, that's what when I go on the road, I check to see, okay, how many days am I going to be gone? Okay, so on average, like if I'm home, I definitely eat like one protein bar a day, maybe two if I'm like on the go and doing stuff. But when I'm on the road, it's like I might eat 3 or 4 protein bars in a day
Yeah.
because I'm not going to eat shit food.
Yeah, and it's always interesting to me when people are like, "Oh, come on, it's just one meal, like blah blah."
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, "You don't understand. It's not that I can't eat the meal.
Of course.
I can definitely eat it if I want
Of
it.
course.
It's not going to make me feel good."
Right.
And I got made fun of too for bringing my own like food and like protein powders. I bring oatmeal packets with me. I go all out, like granola, whatever I think I'm gonna want, almond butter packets. Like I am prepared.
I got
So if you travel with me, I got you.
I got so mad because I guess they don't have them in Washington, but like in the South,
Mm-hmm.
they have Peter Pan peanut butter.
Oh, what is that?
It's just a brand of peanut butter, but like they make this specific type of shout out if you guys want to be a sponsor, Peter Pan peanut butter. They have a flavor. It's like roasted honey, crunchy peanut, and it's so good.
Oh,
It's Peter Pan. It's so good.
I'm gonna probably order that on Amazon.
And yeah, I could easily order it, but there's something about like being when I'm
There and
there, I'm
getting
just
it?
like I get it. But then I didn't realize you can't take that on the plane because it was like too big, so I had to throw it
Oh.
away. And I was
Oh, I get the little to-go packets
so
of like
you
the
have to-
Justin's ones.
yeah, you have to get the small one. And I was so mad because I was like, dude, you don't understand. This is Peter Pan peanut butter. I was so upset, but yeah, like that's my routine. Like when I travel
Yeah.
is all right. How many days am I going to be gone? I'm going to eat this many bars, and then before I leave anywhere, I always do a check before to see like most of the time if I'm going for comedy, I don't have a car unless I drive. So I'm like, okay, where's the closest gym? How far is it? How can I get there?
Yeah.
Can I walk? Is the weather okay for me to walk? Or if it's too cold, like, is it close enough to where it's an Uber? Or
Yeah.
like, do I take public train? It just depends because, a lot of times there's a gym fee associated with it. So it's like, okay, if I spend $20, sometimes a lot of times I get in for free because I just
You
am,
say I'm like here.
I'm just nice when I go places.
Finagle your way in.
I don't I never I always expect to pay, but I'm always nice. Like you
Yeah.
just always should be nice to people anyway. But I'm like, hey, I'm in town for work, and then a lot of times in a lot of these places they're friendly enough to be like, oh, where are you visiting from? And then
They
it
just let
builds
you in.
it builds that conversation. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, I'm from LA. Oh, you're from LA, and if there's a small town, they usually get really excited. What are you doing in this small? Like, what are you doing in Boise? And I'm like, oh, I'm a comedian. And then it's like, oh my God, really? And then it's like so cool.
Oh,
And then you
cute.
can work out for free. And I'm like, sweet, I'll post about it and stuff. Like,
Yeah.
it's not like I have like a ton of followers, but like businesses still appreciate stuff like
Yeah.
that. But like I said,
You plan.
I expect to pay. So then I have to calculate, okay, it's going to be $20 to work out this day. And then it's going to be, in a lot of places, if they have Uber, it's not like here.
Yeah.
So it's like just to go, 5 miles is a $20 Uber ride.
Yeah,
So
it's
it's like
crazy.
now a $20 gym fee is now a $60 because I got to take an Uber
yeah.
round trip. So it's like a lot of times I have to hope that they're somewhere within walking distance because then it's just not financially.
But no, that's why I started bringing stuff. And
Yeah,
I'll like
that's
Skype
smart.
my trainer too.
Oh,
I had
yeah.
a trainer in New York for a while, and like when I left, I would Skype him and like
Right.
have it planned. So be like, okay, I'm shooting at this time. Can you wake up and Skype me at 6 a.m.?
Oh, look at that.
Yeah.
Skype trust. Okay, now this is something that's above and beyond.
Well, I mean, that was like when I like, cause his workouts, it's kind of it's based off of like
know, I
yeah.
know.
So it's like
You could say his name. It's fine.
Model fit.
Give him a plug.
Justin.
Justin Gelband, right?
Yeah, I love Justin.
Yeah.
He'll like
I've heard great things about him.
yeah, he'll like Skype me and he'll train me and whatnot. But then like on days where I'm not doing that, I'll like have it planned out. Like especially in
Right.
China, because I was like, okay, today I'm gonna jump rope. If I know I have to be on set this time, I'm gonna jump rope for 15 minutes, do this, bada bang, good. And it's like,
It's great.
yeah, because there's no like you're talking about in small towns.
Yeah.
There was no gym where I was there.
Right.
There was. I went to a weird. They took us to like a private training session. Weirdest.
In China?
Yes, it was the weirdest. Me and my co-star Walker,
Uh-huh.
they took us to this gym, and we just were confused the entire time we were there. Like the guys like were really intense with us,
Uh-huh. Do
and
they speak English?
a little bit, not well. Like,
Uh-huh.
and our translator wasn't with us, and so it was just kind of like we didn't know what they were wanting us to do. And I know Walker held like probably 10 minutes of planks because he didn't understand what was being said, and like did arms thing, and he's like, no, it's too heavy, and he's like, more, and my dude was just having me like jump rope and do all this other stuff, and I was like, I can't do this, and he's like, yes, and I was like, no, I can't, I'm too weak.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I can't imagine.
I
Like,
have a video of us doing that, whatever this thing where you like do with your arms and you like switch over to the side. What's it called? It's a popular dance.
like flossing
Yeah, flossing. I have a video of him flossing with me.
in China.
Yeah,
That's great.
because he was like super. That was probably half of our training session. Him learning to do that.
Yeah, hotels like if sometimes I don't get a choice in what hotel we're staying in, for one of my jobs. But like if I am staying in a hotel, I'll just look and see. Like if I'm booking a hotel, I try to book I look at the gym. Like I look at the amenities, look at the gym, and I'm like, okay,
do
'cause-
that too.
yeah. I mean, you have to, because it saves like okay. Like I feel like any job that you get modeling wise is probably gonna pay more than I'm getting paid to do comedy wherever I go. That's just the reality of it. So we had to be on a budget, dude. Like
Yeah.
a lot of comedy clubs. I've talked about this, but like they just give you a flat rate. Let's say you're getting $800 for the weekend, and that's it. There's no hotel included. There's no airfare. There's no anything. It's just $800, and that's being generous, by the way. So however you get there, however you want to do when you're in that city, like So if I have to pay for my hotel, I'm like, okay, I try to go on the cheap end, but at the same time, it's like, okay, well, I can not pay as much for this hotel, but now I got to go to the gym because this hotel has a shitty gym, so I'll pay a little bit more for this hotel that has a gym.
Yeah.
So I always look at that because sometimes there's no pictures, and I'm like, God damn it, and I look, and it's like fitness center, fucking an old ass treadmill.
I know, and like 2 things of weights.
Yeah, like
and
a
you're
bench
like, what the hell am I
with
supposed
no
to do with
dumbbells.
this?
It's the worst. So
Yeah.
it's important to me. But I'm glad that you kind of bring your stuff. That's very
Yeah.
that's very
I
inspiring.
even do to home, to my house when I go home to Washington.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Because those aren't. I mean, think about it. The bands are what, like $20,
Yeah.
and then maybe 20, but maybe
Maybe
probably,
I
they're
think
probably
they're
not even that
cheaper.
much. Yeah.
I think you get like 4 bands for 15.
Yeah. Do you have like the ones that go
They're
on your
on
ankles,
Amazon.
or just like the ones the TheraBands?
I have the ones that are at Model Fit.
Okay.
I have those, and then I have like a black band around my
Okay.
for like TheraBand.
Like
and then-
heavier.
yeah.
And then
the
you
ankle
have
weights.
the ankle weights also, which are also like maybe $20. Dumbbells or something. You take a jump
Yeah.
rope. You said.
I don't take dumbbells. I take sliding discs, and then I have like an
Okay.
arm band.
Just like a band.
Yeah, it's like one that is made for like your hands go in it, and it like does little toning things, kind of like
Oh
that
yeah,
Model
yeah,
Fit.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
And
Look
then I
at
just
you.
put it on a little baggie and go.
that's awesome. Good for you, man.
Yeah.
I've done some weird. There's a matter of fact. I'm driving this time, so it's not going to be a problem. But there's this comedy club that I work at in Laughlin, and their hotel gym is a joke. But like you're there for, it's a joke. But like I usually I usually go there with like the headliner, so I drive with them, and then so I can't be like, hey, can you take me to the gym, or can I borrow your car for the gym, And there's no gym nearby. There's gyms in other hotels, but you got to pay the hotel fee, and then there's a gym in like. So have you ever been to Laughlin?
Mm-mm.
Don't go.
Okay.
Have you ever been to Laughlin? Huh? Oh, are you really? See, I grew up thinking so. Laughlin is in Nevada, but it's
Okay.
on the border of Nevada and Arizona.
Okay.
Very close to. It's almost like where California, Arizona, and Nevada meet.
Ooh.
It's very. I mean, there's like a point where they
Tis
almost.
close.
But anyway, it's on the border. So like here's Laughlin, and then there's the river, and then right on the other side of the river is Arizona. Like there's the river, and so you could
For those
see.
of you who can't see, he just made me a
Yeah.
diagram with a water bottle and a phone.
Yeah, that's Laughlin. So, in order to get there though into Arizona, you have to go all the way down the Laughlin. There's like maybe 7 or 8 hotels. Then you have to cross the state line, and then you can go around. You can't cross the bridge this way. It's because
Okay.
it's a river. So you have to go down a little bit. So it's like for me walking, it's like the closest gym is like 4 or 5 miles. So like I'll do stupid stuff in my hotel room, but like I
Yeah.
know that ahead of time because I've been there a couple times now. But now I'm going to drive this time because I have a couple other jobs. So now I'm excited because I can go see the gym on the other side. But
Oh, very nice.
but anyway, Laughlin is like I grew up thinking it was like Vegas
Uh-huh.
because you can gamble there and stuff. It's Nevada, but it's not. It's basically like Vegas for old people and like trashy
Really?
trashy.
I kind of want to
people.
go. I know you said not to, but that's
No, I mean I didn't say. I tell you what, it's on the river,
Yeah.
so you can like you can rent like jet skis or like take a boat or whatever like on the
Fun.
river. Yeah, or like what are they? Jet skis, right?
Yeah.
I think some people can. I think you can water ski on the lake. It's a pretty. It's not
Oh,
a
I used
huge
to do that in
river, but
Spokane.
yeah,
Yeah. We'd go up to the lake every summer and do that.
yeah. See, so it's not big. There's a bigger part like as you go. Like I've run it because the last time I was, I think the 2 times ago I was there. I was training for a marathon, and so I ran like 14 miles when I was there.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, you want to get like
Oh.
you want to be
I couldn't do that.
that was half of the thing. But my point was, I ran across 2 states, so like I would run and then I
Oh,
ran
that's
to
pretty dope.
And you're like, okay, and I don't know, it's just like a cool thing to like be like, yeah, I just ran across 2 states, but it's just right there.
Yeah,
but
that's still really cool.
It gets really hot there in the summertime, so I'm going to be
Okay.
there at the end of May, so it's probably going to be like 110 degrees.
Oof.
But you can get some color, be
Toasty.
on the river.
Yeah.
It's fun. That
Go
part of
plop
it.
a towel down and suntan.
Yeah, that part of it is fun, but like the people that go there, it's usually older people and like he said, trashy people, because it's cheap
Yeah.
and the food's not great. And so like I know when I go there, I'm gonna have to bring because we get like these food coupons that we could eat at the casino like throughout the day, but like it's the worst buffet.
Yeah.
Shit, I shouldn't say that. It's just not healthy. That's what I'll say. I try to eat healthy when I'm there, and the only way I can do it is if I bring my own shit.
Okay.
That's just it.
Yeah.
There is a good barbecue place, and we all know that I love barbecues. So, but I have to walk anyway. So let's talk about your acting stuff. What do you got going on?
Just waiting to hear on a couple things.
Uh-huh.
But it's been really fun
Can I tell people that the story that you just told me
with.
before we started, how you flew yourself out to New York for an audition?
Oh, yeah, that was a fun little day, but my acting stuff is actually more interesting with how I interact with people now.
Really?
Yeah, because I went
What?
to this. That's like a little story, but this is. I'm like now the freak at like parties. Like I went to my friend's birthday party, and the
Uh-huh.
entire time, because what's fun for acting about me is like observing people and how they do, and like we talked about, I'm not really like a partier or drinker or anything.
Right.
And so just like watching how they, like people who do like go crazy and all that, I was like taking video and like pictures and definitely felt a little weird. But I was like, I want to remember this in case there's ever a character where I'm like, what did that feel like to be in that? Because it kind of felt like a high school party, like very
For sure.
collegey high school mix. And since I'm doing like online school, I don't have
Uh-huh.
like a traditional college. And so I'll call my sister and ask her about her college
Or
parties.
you go to college online?
Yeah, well, I'm taking classes at Pasadena City College right
Uh-huh.
now because I was doing online, and then I've realized this was cheaper.
Okay, yeah.
But yeah, that's kind of been like the most, like with acting, it kind of has like changed my, like how I like interact with people,
Uh-huh.
because I'll like study their faces too, like when they're speaking, to be like, what are they thinking about? How does his brain work? Why does he respond like that?
Okay.
So that's kind of been, but I mean, like, yes, when New York.
Well, the thing is, I think
That's
it
been
goes.
fun.
I talk about like on social media and whatnot how, it's like there's people that follow me because they know me as a fitness person, and there's people that follow me because they know me as a comedy person.
Yeah.
So then like sometimes they're like, wait, what? Like it's a lot of stuff, and I talk about how there's something about working out and the discipline of eating right, pushing yourself, and all that, and when you do other things, it translates. Like there's parallels.
Yeah.
There's so many parallels, and it's cliche, whatever you can say. But the fact is, you wake up in most mornings and work out and get your stuff done because you want to look a certain way, feel a certain way, and you on your own dime, right?
Yeah.
Flew yourself to New York for an audition, which is basically a job interview, and maybe you get
Well,
it.
it's like, I mean, I would have done that. I'm like, I know what I want, and I will work for what I want.
Right.
So it's kind of like when I set my mind to something, that's what I'm going to do. And I'm like, all right, this is going to set me back X amount, but you know what? It's an experience. I get to
Absolutely.
meet people. I get to be in front of people. Probably won't book it. But, and I would
Right.
do that with anything like that. Like, had I been in New York and Victoria's Secret wanted to meet me when I was there, or even now, I would have flown to New York in a heartbeat. Like, same thing.
Absolutely.
So I think that, yeah, it's kind of, and I'm bad with people because I like tend to prioritize work and like that type of stuff.
I have no friends.
Yeah, I piss off so many of my friends. One of them's very mad at me right now.
I mean, but the
He's
thing
like,
is,
you always blow me off. I'm like, well, I've got things to do.
if they're real friends, though, they're gonna understand, and it's like it sucks. Like my friends, they know, like I love the people that are my actual friends and like my family and stuff. Like they know that if I'm there, I'm there. But like I have a lot of shit that I have to do.
Yeah.
But I mean, I went to Oklahoma to audition for the comedy club there, and I work it now. But like that was on my own dime. I've gone to places like Vegas for auditions. There's a lot of clubs that you'll send them a tape, of your comedy, and they'll be like, okay, but I have to see you
In person.
do well in person.
Yeah.
And so they're not going to give you a job. You just have to go on your own dime to fucking Dallas, Texas or somewhere, and then be like, okay, well, I'm going to go on my own dime. But like, it's an investment.
Yeah.
Because I know, like, if I do go to that place, I'm going to kill in front of his crowd, quote unquote, and then that's going to lead to, the booking I get the next time, and then
Yeah.
the time after that, and the time after that. Or like, if I do go to a comedy job that, let's say it pays me $300 for the weekend, which is not a lot of money, but you're getting paid to do what you love, so
Yeah.
it doesn't matter. But like, I know that I'm going to sell stuff when I'm there, so I might make an extra $200, $300, $400 while I'm there, maybe more. But that $300 in a few years is going to be a headlining gig. So now I'm making $1,200 that
Yeah.
weekend, and I'm selling 3 times more merchandise, or I can have more leverage. I have a fan base in that city now, so in a few years I can say, okay, well, I want a little bit more, or give me part of the you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it's an investment in yourself,
I agree.
and a lot of people don't have that motivation, that confidence to make investments in themselves like that. They play it safe.
Yeah. I feel like there was something I was recently reading where it kind of talked about that whole playing it safe thing, and maybe it was a soul cycle instructor.
I'm like, I post shit like that all the time.
It was like, if you only like invest in small things in yourself or believe in yourself for small things, and that's what you're going to get. It's like about having courage and taking the risk and being like, I'm going to do this. Even if it fails, I'm still going to do it.
Yeah.
I think it was a soul cycle instructor, but I loved it. I ate that shit up. And it's been like resonating with, because I have a little like manifestation board, and I wrote that down on it.
Yeah.
And so
I mean, that's why I read so much, and I read like stories like that guy's stories, because it's like I'm already motivated enough, you know, but like I just like hearing that other people are like that, because it's like, oh, well, maybe I can do more, or maybe, oh, I didn't think of that, or do you know what I mean? You just never know where you can find inspiration, even if you're someone that's driven, that's motivated.
I mean, I hang out, like when hanging out with people who are super driven and motivated, it makes me want to work that much harder.
Absolutely.
So that's part of it too, I think, kind of with the reading and stuff.
Yeah. Look at that.
Yeah.
What do you have coming out soon, or if people like wanted to, if they're like, oh, I love this Emily Hall, where can I find her aside from like social media and stuff?
I'll have a short film coming out. This Chinese movie will be coming out. It's English. It's in English.
You shot it in China.
China and San Francisco.
That's a feature.
Yeah.
So you have a short film coming out and a feature coming out.
And then I'm going to be on this. Do you know Awesomeness TV?
I do, because my client was the head of it and he just left.
Oh, I started filming something with them, which I don't know if they've released it.
They're in Santa Monica, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that'll be coming out in like a few months.
Is it like a series?
Yeah, I'm on a series now with them.
What's it about?
Well, I don't know if they've released.
Can you talk about it?
I mean, it's already been out, but
okay.
I feel like it's fine. It's called Malibu Surf. But I can't really say what I'm doing.
Okay,
on it,
that's fair. That's fair.
But yeah, it's kind of like it's a cool
you're gonna
show.
have to stay tuned if you want to know what's going on. Yeah, that's
Follow
crazy.
up with me.
He was. Long story, but that's just a small world.
Yeah.
I wonder if because he's been gone for a couple months now, but.
Yeah.
Okay. Plug your Instagram handle stuff.
At the Emily Hall.
And are you on Twitter too?
I'm not on Twitter.
So just Instagram.
Yeah. I mean, I have a Twitter account, but I don't tweet, so I wouldn't recommend going and looking at that.
Yeah, Twitter's weird. It's like.
I feel like either you're a good tweeter or you're not, because I know a few people who are really good. One of my friends who's a comedian as well is funny on Twitter, but I just am not. I'll tweet something.
Who's funny on Twitter?
Rick Glassman.
Oh yeah, I love Rick.
Yeah, his Twitter's hilarious.
But he's funny.
Yeah,
I want to have him on this podcast.
Yeah,
he works out a lot.
He's a hoot and a half.
Yeah.
But yeah, my Twitter sucks. But follow me on Instagram.
It's just such a weird, like, either you tweet funny or you tweet, but it's like a lot of it's just people talking shit to each other.
Yeah.
So my Twitter's all over the place. It's like baseball, Justin Timberlake, comedy, working out. Everyone's like, oh, we can't follow. So I'm like, all right, whatever. So
yeah,
it is what it is. I don't know. Let's see. I've done this with most of the people that I've had. Someone moving to LA from whatever town they're from, like you, what would you give them as advice?
Advice. I would say, my dad says this to me, or he used to a lot. Work hard in silence and let the benefits pay off. Like, don't try to impress people when you're working hard. And I'd say just, like, know what you're coming out here to do and stay focused with it. And, like, have fun along the way, obviously.
Yeah.
But I also think it ties into, like, friends and who you hang around with. Because I believe you become who you hang out with.
For sure.
So I would say, like, even if it gets hard, like, I think everything happens for a reason. An opportunity that doesn't work out opens the door for another one. So I'd say don't get discouraged and just work hard in silence and don't expect people to be cheering for you right away.
Nobody cheers for you.
No. Nobody ever.
Okay, here's questions. This little pop quiz.
Love it.
You have 2 choices, and there's no right or wrong answer. This is going to be a bad question because of what I'm wearing today. NSYNC or Backstreet Boys?
NSYNC.
Yeah, good answer. That's the right answer. Britney Spears or Christina Aguilera?
Britney Spears.
Okay, see, so you know her.
Mm-hmm.
Good. Crunchy.
Me now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Crunchy peanut butter or creamy peanut butter?
Creamy peanut butter.
What is with girls and creamy peanut butter?
It goes on so smooth.
Yeah, but it's peanut butter. So like, wouldn't you not want to have peanuts in your
Just
peanut
because you
butter?
said it with a crunch doesn't mean it's crunchy.
Well, I buy
Peanut butter.
Yeah, I buy the crunchy. Okay, and then the last one. If you put in a toilet paper roll on the thing, do you put it over or under?
What?
Okay, push your toilet paper roll.
Yeah.
Right? So do you have it to where the toilet paper comes out in the back,
The back.
or do you have it in the
The
front?
back.
All right. See, that's the right answer. That's good.
Ding, ding, ding. I
So
was
you got-
4 for 4.
You got 3 or 4 because it's
Oh.
crunchy.
Okay.
The answer's
well,
always
You said there
crunchy.
were no right or wrong answers.
There
so.
isn't, but those are my answers. I used to give this quiz to like when I used to do online dating. It's like, okay, before we meet, I got to ask you these questions, and I'm like, oh, I guess we're not hanging out.
Yeah.
if they said
You're like, "Goodbye."
if they said some bullshit, and I was like, all right, well, this isn't gonna work. So, okay, well, I think that we covered most stuff. That was fun, right?
Yeah. Very
This
fun.
is- and this
Thank
is-
you so much for having me on.
This is Emily's first podcast.
It is.
When
I'm so excited.
when I put together the idea for this podcast and featuring different people in the entertainment industry, you were one of the first people I thought. I was like, I have to bring Emily on
Thank you so much.
so she can show people that models also work out. They don't just starve themselves and they work hard. And you're a perfect example of that. So
Oh, thank
thanks
you.
for coming.
for having me.
If you guys, if you listen to the podcast, if you like it, or even if you don't like it, rate it on iTunes. You can leave reviews, either good or bad, preferably good. But it helps me get more popular on the podcast and more people rate and review and stuff. Subscribe if you want. Share it. That always helps. Tell people. And I'm going to keep bringing in people in different parts of the industry. So thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys for listening to Emily.
Thank you. Thank you.
And yeah, that's The Camera Adds 10 Pounds. And I'll see. Oh, one more thing. When you guys hear this, my album comes out on May 23rd. It's called Man of the Hood. It's my second album. I'm very excited. It's a story of just everything that I've been through in my life. And it's kind of like I've been working on it the last 3 years, but really the last, like my whole life, because I really get into like a lot of the stuff that I've been through. So keep an eye out for that. May 23rd, it's going to be available on iTunes, Amazon, Google stuff, and then we're going to pitch it to Amazon to actually watch too. So anyway, thanks guys. This has been The Camera Adds 10 Pounds. Thanks for listening. I'll talk to you guys next time. Bye. Yeah.